And there we are, just like that. Good evening, everyone. It's your friend Russell Kaye. Good evening and welcome to the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight page show, I should say, with Blue Shamrock Music. And a special thank you to Mr. Stephen Brady. Each and every week, he supplies some amazing artists. And on tonight's show, we got another amazing artist. And we're going to talk to my friend here in just a moment. We'll find out about his songs, what he's up to, and we'll find out all kinds of really cool stuff about our artists here this evening. Again, if you're an upcoming aspiring artist, you want to get on our show, it's quite simple. All you got to do is reach out to Mr. Stephen Brady at Blue Shamrock Music, and he'll be more than happy to meet with you. And who knows, you could be the next artist on our show. Our show is live every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern right here on all of our social media outlets. Tonight, we'll be broadcasting live on Facebook, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and also Instagram as well. So if all my friends, if you're watching us from any one of those four social media platforms, sit back, relax. We got a great show lined up for you. And again, on the show today, do me a favor. Let's have a nice round of applause for Mr. Josh Powell-Fussell.
Oh, thank you so much. How are you, my friend?
Here, put your hands in the air. We got the superstar here.
Hey! How are you, Russell?
We're getting ready to go do the concert. Hey, what you got to say?
We were driving earlier, weren't we? We were doing this.
We were driving, and now we're so excited about being here. We got our hands up in the air like we don't care.
Absolutely. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. Welcome to the show. And we're so excited to have you. Two-part question for you. How you doing, and where are you coming from right now? Where actually are you right now?
I'm doing absolutely super. Thank you very much. Feeling great about all of the music and all of the different things that are happening. I'm coming to you guys from a little town in New South Wales called Casino.
Did you
And
say
it's
casino?
a little town on the Northern Rivers. Yes, it's a little town on the Northern Rivers of New South Wales, population about 20,000. And I'm very proud to be from the Northern Rivers in New South Wales, Australia, and from Casino.
So let me ask you, are there any casinos in Casino?
Look, there's not. There's a lot of hotels with poker machines, so I guess it's like a casino. But a lot of people, when I tell them that I live in Casino, they literally think I live up above a casino, so they misunderstand me.
Wow, that's amazing. And how's the weather up there this evening?
Beautiful. Actually, I'll turn you around a little bit if I can do this and show you the beautiful blue skies in the background. You probably can't see that properly, but there's blue skies. There's Max doing some
Hi,
filming.
Max.
Yeah,
Is Max our photographer tonight?
Sorry, mate.
Is Max our photographer tonight? Does he take some really good pictures for us?
He sure does. He sure does. Absolutely.
Awesome. So let's talk about you. So how did the musical journey start for you? How did you actually get into the music business?
Wow. Well, there's two parts to that, really, because you need to do, or as far as I'm concerned, you need to do your apprenticeship in music first. And so, of course, going way back to my schooling, I majored in music. I was in school choirs and things like that. Did my higher school certificate here in Australia, with music being, as I said, the major subject. And then I joined the Casino Richmond River Country Music Club. And I was in that country music club for probably 10 years. And as part of that club, you could go to big talent quests. And they would have different sections. For instance, they would have senior male vocal, senior male gospel, senior male bush ballad, things of that nature. And if you won those categories in the talent quest, you then got to go to a big major competition called the Champion of Champions. And so I was invited 3 years running to that. And unfortunately, I didn't win, but I actually I got some awards and things, but didn't take out the overall, in that finals. But it was a really good apprenticeship. And so then moving forward from there, In 2011, I had bulged a disc in my back and I was very, very ill. But I won a competition to meet my idol, Dolly Parton.
Wow. Tell me about that
Yeah,
experience.
and
Tell me about that.
look, it was amazing. Like I said, I wasn't that well, but I went to the show up at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, and it was her Better Day World Tour, and I'm sure you would remember that yourself, being in the industry. And so I went backstage, and you weren't allowed to take photos or anything like that. So I put my phone on record in my pocket for audio, and I had a vest on that my mother had purchased me, and it looked like Dolly's coat of many colours. And when she saw me, she said, "You've got on my coat of many colours." And I said, "I have. And you know what my name is?" And she said, "What?" And I said, "Joshua, Joshua, what you doing living here all alone? Joshua, Joshua, you ain't gonna be lonesome anymore."
I
And
love
blow
it.
me down. Yeah, and blow me down and blow me down. Dolly sang harmony with me on that chorus of that song. Now, that was her first #1 hit, Joshua, and it's my name. So I recorded that, and I've been able to hinge myself off that because to me, that was the ultimate goal. I've been able to hinge myself off that and work with other artists. So I've actually voluntarily worked with the likes of Tanya Kernigan, Adam Harvey, Rick Price, Keith Potker from the Seekers, and there's been quite a few others as well. Gina Jeffries. We've all done videos and sang together on Facebook, and that is part of my apprenticeship. So I guess where I'm coming from is that having a look at all of that background and then tying it in with, my peers and being able to sing with them. Also, Troy Cassar-Daley let me sing one of his big hits with him recently. That's my apprenticeship. That's the apprenticeship side of it, and I think that gives you a lot of experience. And now I'm just sort of, doing the singles and writing songs and working with a huge mate of mine and a huge Australian country music legend, Pixie Jenkins. Have you heard of Pixie?
I have, because all we interview a lot of the Australian country music artists, and I've heard that name actually several times. So yeah, I'd love to meet that guy one of these days.
Look, I can make that happen for you, not a problem. I'm sure he would love to actually speak on the program because he has commercial singles out. And so, with that apprenticeship side of it, I needed to then look at how do I do the commercial side of music to get my wish was to get my music out to as many people because I'm a very emotional person in the sense that I'm here to please my audience. I'm here to please the listeners. It's not about an ego trip for me. And I know it's not. In country music, there's a lot of people that are very down to earth, as you know. But I needed to know how that worked. So Pixie has been a wonderful mentor to me. And he actually produced and recorded in his own home studio the three singles that you and I are going to look at today.
Yeah, let's actually talk about those songs. I mean, let's talk about, "Paint Me an Angel." Tell me about that song, how did that song come about? And I mean, I actually had an opportunity before I went live on the air. I actually had an opportunity to listen to that song. I love your voice. I love the energy. I love the voice behind that song. It just seems like it all fits really perfectly together. And I like the smooth transitions of the song. I mean, it sounds really good. So tell me more about that.
Okay, well, I must say, firstly, you are very kind, and I really appreciate you saying that. I appreciate that someone appreciates my music. Uh, Look, how it came about was when I first started working with Pixie, he said to me, "Look, I've got a song that I wrote with a lady called Heather Field many years ago, like I'm thinking about 20 years ago." And he said, "I've been sitting on it for that long, waiting for who I believe the right person is to record that." And Pixie said to me, "Look, Josh, it's you. Would you like to do it?" So he sent through the lyrics and he sent through him singing the song so that I could get a feel for what the song actually sounded like. And I fell in love with it instantly. And really, as you know, the song tells a story about a man that's going to paint himself his own angel hang a painting on the wall and treasure that painting for the rest of his life. And I've really picked up on the fact that I think that man is, potentially quite a lonely man, potentially quite to himself. And he's doing this so that he can actually express himself into a painting and have this angel or this lady, this figurehead that he can look up to. And so Pixie is based in Tamworth, Australia's country music capital. So I regularly go there, mate, to do recording and things like that. Went down there, recorded it, and Pixie worked his magic, got it to a lot of musicians, and sent me the final product. And I must say, I was very, very pleased with it.
Yeah, as I mentioned, that was a great song. I love that song. And so let's talk about Kiss Me Like That. Let's talk to me about that song. How did that one come about?
Sure. Look, I actually wrote that song myself 100%. Now, I don't claim to be the best songwriter out there. In fact, it takes me quite a bit to get a good song happening. Some people have that gift where they can just go like that. For instance, Dolly Parton, she can write a song in 10 minutes and it'll be a hit. But that was a song that I wrote back in, I would say, about 1996. And it was the first time that I had a kiss or a kiss with someone that I loved. And the feeling that I got was ecstatic, elation, happiness, all of those sorts of things. So I wanted to write a song that really encapsulated my first experience with love and with kissing. And that's why, in the song we go, "What were you thinking when you kissed me like that? You kissed me so sweet, I nearly had a heart attack." And it's all about that sort of wow factor of being in love. And that's how that song came about. But the song never grew wings at all. It never got played on stage. I played it at private parties every now and again, but it never ever grew wings. And when I sent it to Pixie, he said, I can hear what I need to do in the background with the instrumentals on that song. I think we need to have it sort of a little bit like a country rock song, easy listening and catchy. So, again, he put it together. I went down and recorded the vocals, and that's what he came up with. And I have so much respect for that man because he can make my songs come alive.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's one thing I love about the music scene. You run into people that are always going to be there for you. You got your network and everything, and and it sounds like you got a really good network, and not only support you, but also support your music, and so that's like really really cool. And is there anything else
Yes.
that you really like about the music industry? What makes you love music so much?
Look, something hits me in the heart. I know with a song if I love it or not. And when I say love it, I mean that it makes me feel like I are in my own home, if you get what I mean. So if I
Mhm.
listen to a song and I start singing it and it makes me feel like a star in my own home, I know feeling that that's the right one. Go do a cover of Dolly's song off her, I think was 1983, a song that was also done by Donna Summer. Have you heard the song Starting Over Again?
I have. That's a great song, actually.
Mm. That song hits me right in the heart every time I sing it. Starting over again. And I really get into it. And that's why I like the music, is that when I'm singing, my spirit is coming out through me, and that's why I like music. And I think with a lot of people that I've had a lot of contact with, and again, we name drop because these people are important to me: Gina Jeffries, Tanya Kernigan, Adam Harvey, Troy Cassar-Daley, Rick Price. Those people are so important to me, and everything I've done with them or conversations I've had with them, they have given me little tips without giving too much away, because what they're wanting for me is for me to do it myself so that I can appreciate it. But they give you those little cues, and that's why I'll be forever grateful. That is why I love the Australian country music family and the Australian country music industry.
Wow. I got a question for you. Were you not on our show a while back? I could have sworn that you were on my show a while back, maybe.
No, I wasn't. I would have absolutely loved to have been, but this is the first time I've connected with you, and I'm sure there'll be more conversations because I'm really enjoying this.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna do a part two for sure. And so,
Great.
let's continue with our interview. So, as the music scene, what do you think about the music scene today compared to like the Dolly Parton days and John Denver days, Kenny Rogers, all those superstars from back then to today? What do you think about country music?
Very interesting. It is a very interesting uh, type of industry. Like when we're talking about the aggregators like Spotify and iTunes and all of those aggregator side of it, if we can talk about that just briefly, I know Mr. Alan Caswell, who is a huge legend here in Australia. He wrote the song, which is the theme song for the Prisoner series that's on TV or was on TV in the 70s and 80s. And he mentioned to me the other day that he has literally made next to nothing off that side of it. And, he has had apparently like millions of streams on particular songs. So I think that side of it is very different today and very tough. Um, I think it's gone. Social media has taken off in a massive way. And I think if artists can hone in on that as well as do their music on a live basis, I think that is a recipe for success. I'm very heavy with social media, very, very heavy. And I find that gives me a lot of gratitude and it gives a lot of my fans gratitude as well because they get to see me do a few songs essentially for free. And it's me passing on my message to them without charging them. But that also helps you then in securing paid shows. So I think it has changed a lot because obviously back in the Dolly days in the 70s and 80s, um, television and radio were the main avenues, to advertise and newspaper were the main avenues, obviously, to advertise their shows. But today it's changed in a big way.
It's kind of funny you bring that up because on our previous shows, a lot of artists are saying the same thing where they feel like these social media giants are getting all the money off of the artist talents. I mean, ours is their talent, is their creativity, and they're actually doing all the work of putting the song together. And yet they only make. One artist said to me on the show, well, I say about 3 weeks ago, that she was only making pennies on a dollar for the song. So every time someone listened to her song, she got paid less than like pennies on the dollar. And so we kind of like talked about that a little bit. I want to talk to you a little bit about that too. I mean,
Sure.
obviously that's a situation that needs to be addressed. I mean, how can that situation be addressed where the playing field is a little bit more even for the artists and also the social media giants as well? I mean, obviously you need social media nowadays to play your music, get your music out in front of millions of people. But with that being said, though, I mean, again, it at the end of the day, it's the artist's music. It's the artist that puts that together and presents the product to the social media giants. So I guess my question is, can it be fixed? If so, how?
Well, what I've done is I have gone ahead and monetized my Facebook account. And what that means is it's connected to Facebook and the amount of views that my videos have. Okay. I have found that a lot better than the aggregators. So, for instance, if my video gets 80,000 views, which the Chad Morgan farewell concert did, I get a bit of money, and actually, it's been actually quite good because it converts from US dollars to Australian dollars, and I've actually found that quite good because I can put that money back into my music. I think a lot of people don't realize that they can actually do that. It doesn't cost you anything to monetize your Facebook, but you need to have a decent follower base as well to back up those views. There are strategies that I can help artists with, and I'm a person that doesn't mind helping anyone. I can help people actually do that. So if more people knew to do that, they would actually focus more on posting their songs, talking to their fans on videos, because every single post you make on Facebook is a potential payment. and you've got to share it to the groups, keep sharing the love. And it does happen. And it is very lucrative, actually.
Wow, that's a great idea. So, I mean, with ours who are watching now that will be watching the show a little bit later on, we get a big crowd now, and even after the shows, we get a big crowd to actually watch our videos. Can you please share your contact information with them if they wanted to reach out with you to discuss what you just mentioned on the show?
Sure. Look, if they just look me up under Joshua Fussell, Fuss for Sam, ELL, on Facebook, connect with me, send me a message. That's absolutely fine. I can give them advice. I would love to.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. That's awesome. That's what I love about the music industry. It's one team, one dream, all working together. And so, getting back to you, and now we asked, just not too long ago, we spoke about your singles. How can our listeners download your music and listen to it and purchase it as well?
Sure. Yeah, well, there's actually another single that we haven't spoke about. Should we do that as well, or we do that later?
Let's do it now. Yeah, tell us about your other single.
All right, brother. Okay, so the other one was a really special one. So I've got a bit of a story that goes with this whole scenario. When I was a young kid, I was about 6 or 7. My parents were the caretakers of a big block of units in Sydney. And so one night, this guy came to the door to hire a unit for a few days because he was a musician. And I remember going to the door with my mum, and I looked up, and there's this big guy, tall, thin, lanky guy with buck teeth. And I thought, wow, okay, who is that? Had no idea, of course, being young. But he actually gave my mother a cassette when he left. And the cassette was Chad Morgan's greatest hits. Have you heard of Chad Morgan, my friend?
Oh, who has not? Who has not heard of
Absolutely,
Chad
you're
Morgan?
right. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. But I always like to ask because if you haven't, I can tell you more about the artist and things like that. But anyhow, so now switching forward to about 3 years ago, a little town about say 50 mile from Casino announced that Chad Morgan would be playing in the pub there. And I said straight away, I'm getting tickets, I'm going to the show. So I went to the show, and I have never seen a small country pub have people hanging out the doors, hanging out the windows. Virtually, you could not fit another person in that pub when Chad Morgan played that show. Now, he was 88 at that stage, 88 years of age. So
Wow.
I said, yeah. So on the way home, I said to my friend that I was with driving, I said, I'm going to write a song about that. I need to commemorate that event that I've just witnessed because it is so epic. So what I did is I wrote a song and I sent it to Pixie. And Pixie fixed it up a lot. I've got to admit, Pixie sent it to actually one of Australia's best writers, Manfred VRs. And they all had a go at it and they all worked it around and they created a song called When Chad Morgan Came to Town. And it's a 90th birthday celebration. So I put it out to celebrate his 90th birthday. And it not only celebrates him with key sort of phrases from his songs and titles of his songs. And of course, we all know him as the Sheik from Scrubby Creek. So at the end of the song, I wrote this bit. He's the sheep from Scrubby Creek, and he don't care. Because that's
Wow.
what he says. He goes, I'm the sheep from Scrubby Creek, and I don't care. I really don't care what people think of me. And so we celebrated that. And he actually had a farewell show up at a massive club up on the Gold Coast a few months ago, which I went up and I actually videoed highlights of it. And I interviewed people, including Pixie Jenkins and some of Australia's leading country music influencers. And I actually commemorated that event as well by uploading it to Facebook. So it all works in together. But the song is called When Chad Morgan Came to Town. And so if you look at the 3 singles, the first one released was Kiss Me Like That. The second one released was When Chad Morgan Came to Town. And then the third one is the current one, Paint Me an Angel.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing the story on that. I mean, Wow, that's what I love about these shows. You always find out something cool every show, and so thank you for sharing that. Are there any other special moments you'd like to share with our audience today?
Wow. Look, I've had a lot of special moments. I've created a podcast myself called JPF Country Australia. And what that aims to do is essentially interview Australia's leading musicians. And I've been lucky enough to have on the show Troy Cassar-Daley, and a lot of other people, Jade Hurley, Pixie Jenkins, and the list goes on. But I like to do that too, and I like to find out and learn about the other artists as well. So I think it's great to have that connection and be a big happy family in the music industry. And I consider you as well a great friend. I can see that you've got a huge heart in what you do, and I really respect that, Russell.
Right back at you, my friend. Hey, now that I know that you do the same thing I do, maybe we can join forces together here. We got to talk to Mr. Stephen Brady.
Sure. Look, I would love to. I mean, I've got the connections there, and that would be absolutely wonderful, my friend.
Yeah. And so, I mean, as we continue on with our interview, is there anything you'd like to share with our audience tonight?
Look, I just want to thank everyone for their support, really, because as an artist, and every artist is in the same boat, you put your music out. You don't know what's going to happen with it. You have the best intention for a single or an album or a live show, and you just never know where it's going to go. So I do thank you all for your support. But I must tell you, things are really popping for me at the moment. I can't reveal too much, but I would like to be on another episode down the track of your show. But I do a Kenny Rogers tribute with my good friend Donella Waters as Dolly Parton. And look, mate, it's absolutely popping. We've got shows getting booked left, right, and centre. We've got a massive one at the Capitol Theatre in Tamworth in January next year for the festival. And that is really, really exciting to me because I love doing Kenny songs and I love Dolly. So I love Donella doing the Dolly Parton tribute as well. That's exciting. So stay tuned for all of that.
Wow, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, do you have anything going on like right now?
Look, I'm in a bit of a break right now, probably for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So we're doing some stuff around the home because, as you'd appreciate when you're a musician, a lot of times your home falls by the wayside because you're always out and you're always at shows and things like that. So I'm working on that, and I'll probably do some more writing very shortly. And look, I'm going to bring a lot more excitement to Australian country music as we go along. Um, and just keep an eye out. That's all I can say because you never know where I'm going to pop up or what I'm going to do next, to be honest.
I love it. I love hearing that. So, if I've never been to your show, what type of show can I expect?
Well, as far as the Kenny and Dolly show, that's the main show that I'm focusing on because I've got these three singles. Essentially, the rest would be covers anyway. So if you were to come to a normal show of mine, you would get my three singles, but you would also get really top covers of all of the biggest country hits. What I usually do is I look at all of the country hits and I pick out the best ones, and I do that and I interact with the audience. So what I'll do is I'll come off the stage and, say for instance, I do the Gambler. I walk right through the audience and connect with them, and I'll sit down next to one of them and sing a bit of the Gambler, and walk around the auditorium and just make the audience feel a part of the show. I want them to go home and just go, wow, I forgot life for the 2 hours that I saw Josh.
That's awesome. So, do you, when you get ready to do a show, I mean, do you have any like pre-event rituals you do?
Look, not really. I mean, I get that nervous energy happening anyway a few hours before the show. I mean, I make sure all my outfits are correct. My partner, Max, actually does a lot of designing for me and does a lot of spangled jackets, which really are reminiscent of the Porter Wagoner jackets, that sort of style. Yeah,
Awesome.
Porter Wagner, of course. Yeah, yeah. So we make sure all of the outfits are coordinated, everything's ready, and we just go in with a fresh attitude every time.
So, when you're on stage, how do you read a crowd?
Well, I read a crowd, I think by age mainly. I really look at the age bracket of those people. You know, I do a lot of charity work, so I will often go to day clubs and things like that and perform for the aged. And you know, with that, you've got to change things a lot. I do a lot of old time songs with the aged and a lot of sing-alongs with them as well. So what I find is if you do say half an hour of sing-alongs, you can pretty much get away with anything else as far as doing country and, you know, maybe a bit of pop and some middle of the road, because you've done those songs that they really, really love. And I usually try and do those songs maybe 4 or 5 songs into the show so that they actually get their money's worth and they're really happy. And then once they're in that great mood, I'll then come back with things like The Gambler and some of those faster country songs and the up-tempo ones to keep that show happening. And then what I'll do is I'll finish on a couple of songs that are really vocally challenging so that it leaves them on a high. That's how I deal with that.
How do you overcome adversity in the music industry?
You just have to stick with it. I mean, there's days where I feel like quitting. There's days where I don't feel good enough at all. There's days where I don't think people like my music because it's not going far enough on the charts or things like that. You just have to go, dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and start all over again. And that's what you have to do relentlessly.
What really makes you such a great artist?
Oh, dear me. Look, I'm not going to say that I'm great, but what I do have is the ability to come alive on stage, to really let my heart shine through on stage. And I think when you do that, people enjoy it. There's nothing worse than going to a show and seeing someone that's really, really nervous, because you then become nervous yourself. But if you're seeing someone that is really having a great time, 9 times out of 10, you'll have a great time. And you know what? My battery's starting to go flat now on my laptop, which is unfortunate. We might have to end off very shortly.
We were having so much fun, but just one final question for you before we go. A special thank you to Mr. Stephen Brady and Blue Shamrock Music again. Mr. Josh Powell-Fussell's in the house with us, and we can't thank him enough. What a great interview we've had. Amazing artist and an amazing attitude, and just a great artist that you are. Any final thoughts you want to share as we wind down our show tonight?
Look, I'd like to thank Stephen personally as well, Stephen Brady from Blue Shamrock Music. I mean, this guy goes above and beyond with everything he does, as you know. But if you're an artist and you want to have your music promoted, please look no further than Blue Shamrock Music, because honestly, he is so good at what he does and he takes the extra care of each and every artist. But I would like to also wish everyone a beautiful evening or a beautiful morning or a beautiful day wherever you are at. And Russell, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for interviewing me today, my friend.
It's definitely my pleasure, my friend, and we're going to have you back. I mean, so make sure you get that thing charged, because you're coming back for part 2.
Sounds wonderful. I've got dogs at home, so that's why I didn't choose to do it at home today, because they often bark, and I thought, well, I'll go to the park where it's nice and quiet. But I'll hold you to that. We'll do a part 2. You just let me know when, and I'll be here.
Well, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for making music great. And I appreciate your time tonight, and much success as you continue in your musical journey. And it was great to have you on our show tonight.
All right, and g'day USA. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, and that was Mr. Josh Powell-Fussell in the house, and we can't thank him enough. Again, a special thank you to Mr. Stephen Brady and Blue Shamrock Music, and don't forget to join us next week every Wednesday. Our show is live, and next week we'll have another really cool, amazing artist. I already know who it is, but I can't tell you because it's a secret. But anyways, it's your friend Russell Kaye. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here. Until next time, have an amazing week. Be safe, and thank you so much for watching Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. Again, being brought to you this evening by Blue Shamrock Music. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.